have the experiences that lie in store. Wonderful Rise Beyond Summit. It'll be available on New Reality TV. So please, you can join, and just hopefully there'll be some intellect and knowledge. Feel free to join us at any time. Be sure to register. Limited seating, so be sure to sign up and get yourself registered for this all weekend. Wonderful self. So I'll be there as well. So hopefully you'll join us for that. I want to say, for those of you who are new to the show, thank you so much. And please like, follow, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this on. And really, hopefully, we'll get you some energy that can help you get your day started off right and going in the right direction. I want to remind you, for those of you who have not visited NorseWhispers.com, that is my website, and provide wonderful gifts of products that can help you to re-embrace maybe that are available. I also want to call out down here my coaching for those of you who may need. Finally, I want to say, let's see, I guess I got to do it with this hand. For those of you who haven't done yet, please feel free to perform. So be sure to do that. Now, for those of you who have that availability, you'll probably note that we have our chat available this morning. So if you have those questions, by all means, drop them in the chat and let's see if I can't get them answered. Of course, for those of you not Marvel films, Thor was the Norse god of strength. He was actually the Norse god of thunder and many other things, protector of Midgard. One of the things that Thor really brought to whatever he did, Mjolnir. Mjolnir, of course, being a large warhammer that had been forged through the hammer to, well, in his case, for the combat, he did a lot of battle. He did. He was always kind of seemed to be in a man of action. For those of you who may not be totally familiar with Thor, the legends and stories of Thor start long before the recognized originally from the tribes in Germania, long before modern Scandinavia, Germanic tribes. Now that's kind of where my family history kind of ties with him, is that we kind of gods that you hear in the Norse legend, you'll hear were actually recognized and developed integrated north. And so Thor was certainly one of them. Now, what Thor represented was physical. He was pretty much a one-man army, so to speak. But something was more important about Thor. They represent strength, but not just physical strength, not just the ability to wield Mjolnir. Mjolnir was not just something that we run down to Home Depot and pick up in those days. He had to have his heart in the right place. He had to have his heart into his actions. And this is really critical as lives, understanding that we are worthy. We are worthy of those better things, the stress, the anxiety, and or the depression that comes with modern day life. I'll be speaking of this perspective thing this weekend, and I'm really excited about it because being able to alter the way we see our reality. Okay, we could look. You can't have a room with, of course, with a silver lining on those clouds, right? This is the energy and the power of hope. By default, into each and every one of us, we have hope. We may spiritual self possesses within it the furnace, or I call it the furnace of the energy right back there again by simply making that choice. Many people think lives are in step. We have to engage. We have to do those things that will win the lottery. You can't win the lottery until you buy the ticket. All right? So very similar in that way, in that we have to buy our ticket. All right? So this is a very critical piece to raise us out of the pits of depression and sadness, whatever different means. Okay, so if someone does something and it choose to not be angry, we can choose to not be disappointed, to not do that. Now, you say that's quite a doing. You're right, it is. But we push our minds. We have the authority. We have the energy that can allow us then to change our minds. We can do it at any time. And this is super depression to anxiety to disappointment to feeling as if you're losing hope. How to do this? One of the exercises that I do every day, and I do it kind of just off, and I note all the good things in my life. The fact that I woke up at my age, never know. More of this lifetime. Let's go do it. And then, I'm brushing my teeth and I'm looking at that knife and my facial features, disturbed, whatever. I'm thankful that the ancestors and the gods have allowed me to grow a mane of this length, and I am, I have a home. Whether, in my case, and even if you don't, maybe that's what the gods have in store for you. Stepped up in comparing ourselves against others, and we say, oh, well, they have there are warriors both on land and on sea. So it's okay. Think about comparing ourselves, measuring ourselves against someone else's bar. We have very different structures to start with. We have different experiences that we've had in our lives, which our brain is interpreting those chemistry differently. So there's all forms of okay. Matter of fact, it is the norm. Making us all vanilla and all the same. Okay. So being able to content of congruence. Now, for those of you who didn't catch that show, our line of congruence is when our brain thinks that we like bananas, and our heart tells us that we love bananas. When we're eating a banana, we are in congruence. Obviously, a very simplified case, but nonetheless aligned, if you will, in the same line. One of the byproducts where we act, think, work, function the way our heart and those values that mean a lot to us. What are those things that are make you you? Of my Norse ancestry, 9 noble virtues. Now, the 9 noble virtues, for those of you who don't know them, you can look them up on the internet, and there's a list. And you're going to find, as we look at these 9 noble virtues, that many of them transform top military or law enforcement. All of these individuals are going to strive for these 9 noble virtues. Of course, stemmed from the days when my ancestors were kind of on their own, long before toaster ovens came out. they had to find food, prepare food. It was a harder life for sure than what we have now. So this central well that we drew upon when we will draw on that pool. Now that pool or that well, I always describe it as a well with our values as beautiful rocks, beautiful mosaic of rocks at the bottom of the well. And then the water in the well is, of course, that which goes on in our lives every day. So many times that water may have gotten stirred up, so it's more or less very murky, hard to see the values at the bottom. Other days, the water has we are. So your rocks are very different than my rocks. And there are others. Now, these rocks come in all forms and all sizes, and many of them, as they be covered in dirt themselves, in which case they release even more dirt into your well, making it harder to see the values. That rock will kind of settle down into the bottom of the well, where it's going to cover the mosaic of who you are. Life forms, other spiritual entities will kind of cast these stones into our well in an attempt to change our mosaic at the bottom, our well, so that people don't just willy-nilly throw things in there, right? And that's where it comes. Smell them, all right? And they're going to be values, and we're going to say, do I want that value? Is that something that is congruent with what I already believe or what I already know? Guard, if you will, our well from everyone just throwing rocks into it. Now, ultimately, it becomes easier to defend your well, right? Because the longer those rocks are down there at the bottom, value, or I don't want that value, I want to be here, all right? So that's really of our earlier lives, figuring out what that looks like, what values are at the bottom of our well. The good news is you can put any value you want from life's experiences. You can decide that that's when you not worry about pulling it back out. You're going to focus at clearing the water, working either for or against our intrinsic your biceps and triceps and all of those different muscle groups are the only thing involved in strength. Make a decision in our lives, make a choice, because we always have a choice. Make a choice and stick to that choice. Difference, maintain this alteration even in the face of them. And I do it for a very good reason, right? I wear kilts. I wear kilts everywhere, either Scotland or I have one that I wear almost all the time. And that is, those of you not familiar with history, Waterford, which is along the southern coast of Ireland. Waterford was actually formed. So the Norse of Denmark proceeded west. We know that there was, and of course, Danelaw being settled by, yes, Danes.